Good morning, LinkedIn Live. We are live. Yeah, we were just saying, let's do this. Are you ready? You ready? I almost thought because we were doing like a story time, almost like behind the scene. Good morning, everyone that's joining. If you're watching live or if you're watching on the replay, thanks for checking this out. But I almost thought because I said it was going to be a bit of the behind the scenes, and I thought, shall I start by like doing my makeup, like sitting at the sitting at the desk as I do sometimes, trying to put a bit of makeup on. Very tired eyes today, hence the glasses again.
The 5 minutes.
Yeah. The 5 minute quick drag, quick drag.
Yeah.
But thanks, Maxine. Thank you for joining me. For those that don't know, Maxcene Crowe is an amazing, experienced facilities mobilization manager, procurement specialist, all kinds of things. Go and check out Maxine's bio. And Maxine is currently working on launching a whole new academy. We were just talking about that for next year, really specializing on the mobilization of, and when we say mobilization, that's like, big buildings and relocations and go lives and all that sort of thing. But today, because we're both LinkedIn Live enthusiasts, we're going to talk about LinkedIn Live. So for me, for 2023, this is my 51st weekly LinkedIn Live, and but you didn't start right at the start of the year. So what number is this for you? How many have you done? Because you do two as well. You don't just do one series; you do two. So just explain, because one's not enough, right?
Couldn't just do one. So my first podcast in the spotlight launched in June, and my last podcast of the year on In the Spotlight will be on Tuesday with Teresa Bowie from Jungle HR. And so 23 in the spotlight, and 23 amazing SMEs, entrepreneurs and innovators. And then the second podcast in Consultants Corner that launched in July, and there's been 10 of those. We had the last one, Alex Head, Social Pantry, absolutely amazing operator. And I'm scheduling to do more next year, and get as many SMEs, entrepreneurs, innovators on the podcast, so that we can raise their profile and just spread the word about their amazing services far and wide.
And what's the difference between your two? So you've got In the Spotlight and Consultants Corner. So what's the difference between those two? What sorts of individuals and or businesses do you have on the different ones?
So In the Spotlight is literally anyone that I'm connected with, anyone that has a service that they want to voice. It's a platform that gives them a voice to talk about their services. So as you know, we had the lovely David. We had him on. He's a sculptor. We've had oh my gosh, there's been.
I was thinking, you were talking about the lovely David Miller, my other half, for those people that don't know.
So SMEs, entrepreneurs and innovators. So don't think of it as being, oh my gosh. I mean, this week I've had on a lady that runs a skin and beauty clinic in Guernsey. There's been Piff and Stem, that's going to be an episode that's going to be coming out, and he develops what the drop top desk. So if you've got no space in your house, it literally goes on your wall, and you can have a picture backdrop, and it flaps down, and you have your double screen, and you have all your facilities to work. And at the end of the day, flip it up, put it away, and it's great space saver. So there's the differences with consultants. Sorry, you're gonna consultants.
No, do you know? Yeah, do you know what I love about some of those people that you described? And for those of you that don't follow Maxine, is because obviously you work in, I guess, what people call like the built environment in terms of the things around us, but also you're a really creative person and quite artistic, actually. So I can almost see when you describe some of those guests, and it's that intersection, isn't it, of your own passions and interests around the creative, the arts, but also the built environment all around us, things that we see, touch, that kind of make our lives better. Yeah, it's great. It's
absolutely. And Consultants Corner is more industry led. So we started with hospitality professionals in the hospitality industry. So we had a few contractors on there. So a great one was Amadeus. They run the NEC catering and events facility, which is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
We've had some really great consultants on as well, and next year we're going to be asking a big question, so it's going to evolve into like a big question around collaboration, partnership, and we'll invite more guests on. So one is more, I'd say, it's formal, informal, structured industry, and the other one is just absolutely anyone that connects with me, that's really passionate about what they want to do, they want a voice, then that's in the spotlight.
So
I
anyone,
Yeah,
I mean, definitely anybody that's listening to this that maybe is, and part of the reason I wanted to do this conversation is to maybe inspire others who for next year are maybe thinking about doing LinkedIn Lives, because I do, I think as I put in the post out there, I think it's really important on social media platforms to create space for longer conversations, because otherwise we just end up in these very binary, pithy, kind of short form, lack of nuance. So I would really encourage more people to do this. So if you're, reach out to Maxine or myself, if you want to sort of come and join us. My conversations and my guests, I like to, as I say to guests, I like to talk about topics that intersect in both of our expertise, if that makes sense. So when you were on here as a guest, way back when, it was talking about how people were trying to get people back into the workplace and inclusion and all of that stuff. So it's great. It's great.
I was going to say the other thing I introduced as well, which wasn't at the beginning when I started in June, was the spotlight specials, because there's some guests where you can't cover a conversation in 30 minutes. So the aim is really an hour for spotlight specials, and probably one of those a month. So the first one that I did a spotlight special with was sustainability. It was all around Jasper Steinhauser, Business with Impact, and he's written a book about making sustainability profitable. So we had a whole hour with him, and then we've had Jason Roberts Collider. This is me name dropping now. We did the spotlight special with him, and you had him on as well.
One of my favorite guests. Yeah,
he's pretty amazing, doing some amazing stuff in that space. So that's a new thing that came out that I started doing just in August. So
the thing with some of these guests as well, you mentioned one or two of them, but somebody like, for example, Jason Roberts Collider, what's interesting about them, and I guess why they would appeal, I mean, obviously he actually sits in the intersection between us. So obviously his business now is kind of like in that B2B marketplace procurement space, but also obviously coming at it from an inclusion,
diversity.
But when you've got individuals like that who are such connectors, it's always really great sort of talking to them. They bring, kind of such wealth. What was it that made you start doing this? What's the why? Why did you do it? Why did you get into doing the lives?
So my wife actually started when I was a full-time employee in JLL working on an account, a very large client account, and the people that run the buildings and all the services for those clients. So just to give you an idea, it's like over 200 people, 19 countries, 35 buildings. So it's not anything small. And when you're based as a facilities specialist, when you're based on a client site, you're working for your FM provider, sometimes you're not going to necessarily be connected in what's happening in your main business that you're employed with. So I've created the in the spotlight there as a bridge. So we'd have on category managers, and they'd talk about the strategy for the company, so that on the account we could align. There'd be diversity, inclusion, there would be sustainability, there'd just be people around the business that are the platform and the support for the operations teams that are working on the client sites. So that's where the initial idea came from. And then when I finished at I'll name drop JLL, I just had this burning passion. I was thinking, I still want to do in the spotlight, but how can I make it bigger, wider, and impact more people? And that's where the idea of shining a light came from, being a key person of influence, where you shine the light on others, what their achievements, and really say, hey, look what these guys are doing. So that's where In the Spotlight the name came from. And I thought, oh my gosh, SMEs, entrepreneurs, innovators across the world. I mean, there's been so many, even not even based in the UK, that you know, we touch it, and it's just created that bridge, that platform. So a profile and raising the awareness of, hey guys, when you're sourcing, and especially with diversity now being prevalent for a lot of corporations, sometimes it's difficult. Okay, you've got databases and people that see, I've got all passionate now. People
no, I get it.
Create the databases, but then how do you find someone in Israel? Sorry, not Israel, but any country that can deliver at a local level good service? So Spotlight is also about, okay, recognizing if they're diverse, they're SMEs, they're working in certain regions across certain countries, getting to know them, so that it's a step less for them to take when they're trying to get in with and onboarded with a corporate to deliver their services.
That makes so much sense. It makes so much sense because, you know, the thing about social media, because posts and everything are great, you know, and you know, there are people obviously on LinkedIn in particular. Obviously, we're streaming this to YouTube as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But there's people on, you know, LinkedIn and on social media who become quite well known for their posts and their content. I mean, I met a complete legend of social media recently. I met Elfried from Gymshark. Oh my God, I was almost like literally starstruck. But there is something about when you do this sort of content, as you say, it puts a person and a face to the name. So something like a database of suppliers that can provide X, Y, and Z, a bit like we do. You know, I get so many contacts about work and training and whatever on the back of, because, you know, doing this sort of format, people get to know you a bit more, don't they? They see your style, you know, whether they're going to like it, they hear your views on certain things. So it's a richer interaction, isn't it, basically?
It is. And because and what I found, what was quite interesting is that, so I've been on a few podcasts as a guest this year as well, and it is different because I found the Spotlight is it's all about you, and I'll talk about a couple of things, references to myself, but it is actually all about you, and it's reflective of how I do business as well. You know, it's about my clients, it's about those people that I'm helping, it's about educating and sharing that knowledge, and that's how it all comes out.
Absolutely. So, anybody that doesn't know Maxcene, that hasn't worked with Maxcene or done anything, Maxcene is one of the most generous people you will come across in terms of, you know, with your time and your energy and your knowledge and connecting people. And honestly, Maxcene is like an Energizer bunny. And when we've done retreats and you've come on retreats and stuff, you're just so giving, honestly. So so this kind of thing, this kind of platform was made for somebody like you, really. It really was.
And you know what, it was you that actually inspired me, because I had the idea for some kind of podcasting over 2 years ago. And first of all, it was like, oh my God, it's like, I don't know where to start. I've got no clue. B, it was, oh my gosh, with the podcast, looking at all these different ones and going through all the research for them. And I was just like, people that I've got like mentors of people that I really admire, just not even in the industry, just outside the industry, they just start. It doesn't matter what you do, no matter what platform you're on, just start, do something. And so when I saw that you'd started earlier on in the year, I was just like, I'm going to chat to Charman and you know, it was really funny when you shared the YouTube video. Do you remember? And then you were saying, platform, and I was just like, look, just start. But in my mind, I wasn't podcasting. It was really bizarre. I was like streaming, I was meeting people, and I never ever labeled it as a podcast. And it was like I saw it in a networking event, just said, oh yeah, the podcasting and this and that. And I'm like, it dawned on me. That was when I had my light bulb moment. And it was literally like 2 months, like a month later, oh my God, I'm actually podcasting. So I actually did it and started it. And the realization came later. Oh my God! And it's just 2, and there's still more to come. Oh my gosh! There's some special shout
and interesting. And why you chose the platform would be an interesting one. And a shout out to the video that we're referencing which if I can remember, I'll put a link below. I never remember to put a link below. But there's a lady called Vendi Steinberger who is on LinkedIn. But we came across her YouTube video of how to do LinkedIn Lives, and actually a lot of what you see, even like the branding that you see around this, the way that that's designed, I got all of that from her instruction, and it was really useful, just very practical way of doing it.
Yeah.
And it was really valuable. Why did you choose this platform? And just, I know you, so finish off what you were saying, and then why did you choose this platform?
So I'll tell you a funny story about the overlay. So when you see like the breakfast news on the BBC, and I watch that and I look at it and I think, that's what we're doing. That's exactly what they're doing as well. It's like it's the overlay, it's that detail. But the reason why was the appeal that it streams to LinkedIn. Obviously, it's LinkedIn Live, but it also streams to YouTube and Facebook. So if there's anyone that's thinking, oh my gosh, well, how do I, instead of it all being individual and you're individually posting everything and streaming everything and your content and who you're interviewing as guests, it's just one click and everything is customized, and it's just it's so simple to set up. There is time involved in the back end. There always is, but you've got Canva, which is a great tool for creating, and if you've got a specific idea in your mind of how you want it to look, how you want it to feel, there's the tools are there to do it. So definitely use Canva a lot for the creative side and the branding and how I wanted it to come across. So that's why it's purely the ease of it, the streaming. It just makes it possible, and you can start off at low cost, no cost, and if you want to go big, you can then start paying for subscriptions. But it's a brilliant way to start.
Yeah, it's really straightforward, and I would agree. So we stream. I think you use StreamYard as well. So we both stream. So when it comes to LinkedIn Live, so some people don't realize, but you can't. It's not like an Instagram Live where you can just open up the app and go live. You have to go through what they call like a restreamer, like a streaming platform. So we both use StreamYard. I did try another one a few years ago called Restream, which I know is a really popular streaming platform. I found it quite challenging actually technically, and also I had some technical difficulties with it. But StreamYard, I don't think I've ever had an issue. I think there was maybe once where I had to go back in, but apart from that, touch wood, out of all of the solid weeks, it's never been an issue. So StreamYard is what we use, and then as Maxine was saying, like the Canva tools, like once you kind of decided a layout that you want to use for your thumbnails, to kind of like advertise when you're doing one, and then like here the overlay that you see, as Maxine said, that title at the top that says the how and why of LinkedIn Live, Storytime, the live thing down at the bottom, that's just all in Canva, and it literally takes minutes to do. Once you've got a format you're happy with, it literally takes a few minutes once you've got your template. But all of that was Vendi Steinberger for me. Shout out to Vendi Steinberger.
I was going to say, as it's story time, I'll tell you a quick story. One of the very first lives that I'd done was with a chap. It's Jasper for the sustainability, and
I remember that one.
You remember that one? And then so the sustainability piece. This is the behind the scenes bit now, where with the overlay, we was just like, right, so I did the template and I was just like, right, okay, download the overlay, uploaded it. But when it came up on the screen, you couldn't see us. We just
because it wasn't transparent.
This is the thing. So I was just like, why isn't that happening? And so we did it without, we kind of fuddled something, but it was without the actual overlay that we wanted to put with our branding and everything else on there. And what we found out, and then afterwards, it was literally about a day now, I was saying, why did that happen? And when I went into rewatch the YouTube, it was about when you download, you have to select transparent.
Transparent,
so that you can then see yourselves on the screen. So I'm there messaging Jasper saying, I figured out the transparency thing. And then we did end up doing another one the following month. Different content. We did an FAQ festival for business leaders. And then the second one we did was about him and promoting his book
Yeah.
and
Oh,
what
cool.
he's doing.
Yeah. And as Maxine said, StreamYard is great because you can stream to multiple platforms. And the thing is, when it comes to social media, people can get overwhelmed because they think actually it's going to take up loads of time because I've got to be on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn Live, blah, blah, blah. Actually, the beauty of this in terms of creating content, and the other thing about this is very rich content. So if you're branding yourself, you're trying to like market your business or whatever, this is very rich content. And actually, you're just streaming this once and it potentially is going to lots of different platforms. I don't think it streams to Instagram because obviously Instagram's its own beast.
No.
But you can stream directly to YouTube, obviously LinkedIn, and Facebook,
X as well.
Twitter. The reason that I chose LinkedIn, so as I said in my post, I left Facebook a while ago. It's far too negative, right? And then I left Instagram as a main platform. LinkedIn I like because generally the quality of conversations is better, and it's also it's the platform that I wanted to invest my time in terms of trying to give some value and also trying to learn on this platform. And so I thought, because I had done podcasts and I've still got a podcast, but I thought I wanna be in the algorithm on the platform where I want to most connect with people, and that's why I chose LinkedIn as like my main platform. Let's just talk a little bit about the mechanics of the scheduling. So we were talking a bit about that in terms of how so I've got a technique. How do you do your schedule? How do you manage it all? Because some people are kind of probably thinking, oh, but it gets time consuming, like especially if you're having guests, and how do you find time to write all your content? Because I do some on my own where I'm just like deep diving into a topic or whatever. So how do you manage that?
So taking a leaf out of your book, there is stuff planned with the online academy to actually then do some online by myself. So I'll come on to the presenting, but scheduling. So for in the spotlight, I do my own scheduling, and at first it was kind of hit and miss to kind of think, okay, what dates and times the best time for viewing, and then very quickly realized that people have their own schedules, routine. There's the recording, and what I find is sometimes it's after work or weekends that people will basically watch something back. So I don't get hung up about a specific time to get a peak audience. It's not about that. It's about creating it, the value, sharing the content, and people can come to it when they have their time in their schedule. But so I select for Consultants Corner, because their industry, they work all day or with clients all day as consultants. So they tend to run between 5:30 and 7 p.m. And we tended to do like a Tuesday or a Thursday for that. And then in the spotlight was really whenever the people were available. And at first I was actually liaising quite a lot with my guests to decide a date, whereas now we're setting dates and windows of time. So the last few, I've been experimenting on the last few in the spotlight, where it's been a 12:30 slot, great lunchtime break, or 5:30, kind of towards the end of the day, you want to listen in or listen back. So I'm now pushing out dates and times, and then the guests are selecting what's convenient for them. There's always going to be stuff that happens. So it's really beauty of the StreamYard as well. It's really easy to reschedule and just redo stuff. That was how I do the scheduling now, and it's choosing the dates, times, sending them out, and then the guests are confirming. And now I'll have a shout out to EP Magazine, Izzy and her team. That will now be taking over all of the scheduling for both.
Yeah, great. You're outsourcing it. You're outsourcing.
And since this, I have a VA as well. Shout out to Helena, because you have to work on your business as well. And whilst we're creating, giving value, we also can't do it by ourselves. So now at first it was learn about it, do it and launch and just start. Now it's about how do I impact more SMEs, entrepreneurs, consultants, how do we do more, how do we create more value, which means more streaming, more podcasts.
Yeah.
More, yeah,
you do. There's definitely, I think on the scheduling, well, in terms of content, so firstly, you do need to think about the content in terms of, what are I guess marketing people call it content pillars. What are the buckets of things that I want to do and talk about, so that you're a bit more intentional, it's a bit more planned. With the scheduling, I've started using Calendly. I was saying to Maxine, I've used Calendly in my business for years and years anyway, but now for my LinkedIn Lives, I've got a specific Calendly link now that I've sent out to guests that are interested in coming on, so that they can then just book themselves in, and that tends to work. I am conscious of time, and the other thing is, and I love this early morning slot, is when I like, because you're right, with a lot of people that are on LinkedIn during those during 9 to 5, a lot of people are busy. So actually, you either maybe go before the start of the day or after, or at lunchtime, as you say.
Yeah, and the
Final
industry.
tips.
Sorry. With the industry as well. Most people are on client sites by 8 a.m. So because of my industry as well, hence the timing.
Yeah.
Final tips.
Final tips for anybody thinking of starting.
Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just start. Doesn't matter. Just start, and you can always reach out to Cheryl or I just for some tips. We will jump on a session with you. I've done that actually. Brought people to the session who they've wanted to launch their podcast.
You're so generous. See, I told you, Maxine's so generous with her time. Yeah, if anybody's thinking, just start, I would say. I will definitely try to put the link below to the Wendy Steinberger YouTube video, because it really, for both of us, it was really instrumental in us starting.
Helpful. Yeah. And we should do another one about the presenting as well, because I discovered you do them on here, and that's the
technology, the tech's great in terms of how to present. Yeah, perfect. So, thank you, Maxine. We're going to stop, because I know that you've got some training to do at 9 o'clock. So we're going to end it there. Thank you, anybody that's joined, and please do reach out to us if you're interested in getting started, or if you're wanting to be a guest with either of us next year. All right, take care, guys. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.